My engagement party. Mine and Marcus. It feels like a play I've seen before. A rerun of a tragedy I now have the script for. I sip my champagne. The bubbles bitter on my tongue. He's over there smoozing. Looking every bit the devoted fiancé. He doesn't know I know. He doesn't know I remember everything. Excusing myself with a headache. A convenient, believable lie. I slip away from the noise. Not towards the exit, but towards the service corridor that gives me a perfect view of the coat closet's entrance. My phone screen glows faintly in my hand, connected to the micro camera I planted earlier. And there they are. Olivia. My sister. All practiced vulnerability and fluttering lashes. Marcus. Easily caught. History repeating itself pixel by pixel. A cold smile touches my lips. This time there's a prenuptial agreement tucked away in my lawyer's safe. A very special one. In my first life. They destroyed me. In this one. I'll watch them destroy themselves. Olivia. My sister. She glides through life on a current of effortless beauty and practiced charm, leaving a wake of chaos only I seem to notice. Or perhaps only I cared to notice. In my first life. That caring cost me everything. She was always the golden child. The one mom and dad showered with praise while my achievements were met with lukewarm acknowledgements. My pains dismissed as melodrama. Olivia could do no wrong, even when she was doing exactly that. I remember it with a clarity that still feels like acid etching my insides. That life just days before the wedding I'd planned meticulously for months. The wedding I'd poured all my naive hopes into. I found them. Olivia and Marcus. My Marcus. Then not in some dingy coat closet, but tangled together in the guest room of our future home. The betrayal wasn't just the infidelity. It was the sheer breathtaking gall of it. Olivia's tearful false apologies. Marcus' cold, pragmatic explanation that Olivia simply understood him better. My parents somehow managed to spin it as my fault. I wasn't attentive enough. I was too focused on my career. I pushed him away. The world tilted, cracked, and then shattered. The humiliation, the heartbreak, the utter isolation. It was too much. The darkness swallowed me whole. A bottle of pills. A final note they probably dissected for signs of my instability. Suicide. They called it. A tragic end for a fragile girl. Fragile? No. Just utterly broken by those closest to her. Waking up again, gasping for air in a past I thought was sealed by death was the most terrifying and exhilarating moment. Reborn 3 years before the implosion. 3 years to rewrite the ending. Marcus thorn in this life. Seeing him again sent a jolt through me. Not of love, but of cold calculation. He's exactly as I remember, devastatingly handsome. Impeccably dressed. Radiating an aura of wealth and ruthless ambition. He built his company, Thorn Industries, on sharp deals and sharper elbows. Valuing image and connections above genuine human decency. He saw me in the first life as an accessory. A suitable wife from a respectable, though not quite top-tier family. He saw Olivia as a thrill. A conquest. He never truly loved either of us. He loved what we represented. What we could do for his ascent. This time, I see him as a tool. A necessary pawn in my elaborate game. And my parents. Oh. Mom and Dad. Still the same. Olivia tripped. They rushed to cushion her fall. I secured a major promotion. That's nice. Dear. Don't let it go to your head. Their casual dismissal. Their blatant favoritism. It stung less now. It fueled the fire. In the first life. Their lack of support crippled me. In this one. It frees me. I owe them nothing. Their disappointment is irrelevant. Then there's Vanessa. My best friend. Or so I thought. In the hazy aftermath of discovering the affair last time. I'd sobbed my heart out to her. Sharing every raw detail. Every vulnerability. Days later. Marcus used those exact vulnerabilities against me. Twisting my words. Painting me as unstable. Olivia later let slip during a drunken gloat long after I was gone. How Vanessa had relayed everything. Currying favor. securing her own place in their shiny new circle. The betrayal cut almost as deep as the initial one. A confidant turned viper. This time, Vanessa's calls go unanswered half the time. When we do talk, my words are carefully measured, devoid of any real substance. She hasn't noticed yet. And Richard Sterling, my former boss at Sterling Corp. A man who preached loyalty but practiced expediency. When the news of the broken engagement and my subsequent fragility became office gossip in my previous life, he called me in, expressed concern, then fired me, citing performance issues that conveniently arose only after my personal life imploded. 2 weeks later, Olivia sashayed into my old role. A position she was laughably unqualified for, secured undoubtedly by Marcus' influence and perhaps a whisper from Vanessa. This time things are different. The moment I knew I was back, my first strategic move was professional. I didn't go crawling back to Sterling Corp. Instead, I targeted their biggest rival, Apex Global. I polished my resume, leveraged connections I hadn't bothered with before, and aced the interviews. Now, I'm rising fast at Apex. And Apex. We're currently preparing a hostile takeover bid for Sterling Corporation. Richard has no idea the architect of his potential downfall is the woman he discarded so easily. He certainly doesn't know I'm feeding Apex strategic insights gleaned from memories of his company's future weaknesses. Marcus, just as I calculated, noticed me again. Not the broken fiancé-to-be, but the confident, successful woman making waves at Apex. He pursued me relentlessly, showering me with attention, gifts. The whole practice performance was almost nauseatingly easy to reel him in. He thinks he's the predator. He has no clue he walked right into my meticulously laid trap. Our whirlwind romance is entirely on my terms, choreographed down to the last detail. My reconnaissance wasn't just professional. I dug into Olivia's life. In this timeline, without Marcus bankrolling her expensive taste yet. She's floundering. Credit card debt piling up. Rumors of a nasty little gambling habit whispered among circles she tried to keep separate. She's desperate, grasping for a lifeline. That desperation makes her predictable, makes her greedy, makes her easy to manipulate. Last week, during a brief stilted coffee meeting I'd agreed to, I accidentally left my phone unlocked on the table when I went to the restroom. Open to a message chain with my lawyer discussing the final details of settling my late grandmother's vast estate. An inheritance I never received in my first life because my parents, executives of the will, somehow managed to redirect the bulk of it to Olivia after my death. This time, Grandma updated her will shortly before passing, leaving everything directly to me, bypassing my parents entirely. A fact I made sure Olivia glimpsed. The bait is set. Now I just have to wait for the sharks to circle. The diamond feels heavier this time around. Colder. Marcus kneels before me. Champagne flute momentarily forgotten on the table beside us. The restaurant's ambient buzz fading into a low hum. He's saying all the right words. The ones I memorized from the last time he proposed. About destiny. About finally finding his match. About building a future together. It's happening faster this time. My plan is accelerating the timeline. I manufacture a tear, a delicate tremor in my hand as I let him slide the ring onto my finger. Yes. Marcus. I breathe, channeling the ghost of the naive girl I once was. Yes. Of course. Yes. His smile is triumphant. Mine, hidden behind a mask of joy, is predatory. The engagement dinner is a masterclass in déjà vu. Mom and Dad are beaming, relieved their problem child is finally settling down with such an eligible man. Olivia is there dressed to kill, her eyes glittering with something that isn't sisterly affection. She positions herself next to Marcus, her hand lingering a little too long on his arm, her laughter pitched just a bit too high. She compliments the ring, her gaze flicking between it and Marcus's face. You have exquisite taste, Marcus. She purr. My sister is a very lucky woman. I catch the undercurrent, the possessive challenge in her tone. I smile blandly, pretending to be absorbed in conversation with a distant cousin, letting the scene unfold exactly as I knew it would. I don't need to intervene. Olivia's envy is a force of nature. It needs no encouragement. Later that week, Olivia calls me ostensibly to gush about wedding plans. But her motives are rarely pure. We meet for coffee. A strained affair filled with forced pleasantries. I let the conversation drift, finding distraction. Then, as planned, I steer it towards Marcus. Sighing dramatically. He's wonderful. Liv, I say, injecting a note of counterfeit concern. But sometimes I worry. His family. They can be quite intense about finances. Olivia leans in, sensing gossip. What do you mean? I lower my voice, glancing around conspirator ally. Well, they insisted on this ridiculous prenuptial agreement. Apparently, it's standard for the Thorns. Protects the family fortune. You know. Olivia's eyes sharpen. A prenup? Really? Yes. I sigh again. Marcus was sweet about it. Said it was just a formality. But my lawyer added a few clauses of her own. Especially regarding my inheritance from Grandma. It's substantial and it's ironclad protected, separate from Marcus' assets entirely. No matter what happens. I watch the calculation flicker in her eyes. Greed wars with envy. Perfect. As I take a call, I leave my phone on the table. Recorder app running silently. When I return, Olivia is talking, venting her frustrations about her own money troubles. Subtly fishing for details about Marcus' wealth, complaining about how some people have all the luck. Then the gem. Honestly, Clara. You're sweet. But Marcus needs someone. Stronger. Someone who can handle his world. Someone like me. If I had his money backing me, I could really make something of myself. He deserves better. Bingo. Recorded. Saved. Backed up. The next piece falls into place effortlessly. I arrange a necessary business trip with Apex Global. A week-long conference in Singapore. I make a show of being reluctant to leave Marcus. Kissing him goodbye at the airport with fabricated tears in my eyes. I'll miss you terribly. I whisper. Don't let my sister monopolize all your time while I'm gone. A playful wink. He laughs. Assures me he only has eyes for me. The moment my plane is wheels up, I know they're making plans. It doesn't take long. A discreet private investigator hired months ago provides the proof. Texts confirming clandestine meetings. Grainy photos of them leaving a boutique hotel downtown. Olivia clinging to Marcus's arm. Receipts from expensive dinners I wasn't invited to. Every rendezvous. Every lie. Meticulously documented. Time-stamped. Filed away. They think they're being clever, sneaking around. They have no idea they're performing precisely according to my script. I return home to the expected charade. Marcus is overly affectionate. Olivia calls. Dripping false sympathy about how lonely I must have been. The universe even provides the perfect stage for the next act, Sunday dinner at my parents'. Mom fusses over Marcus. Dad discusses business strategy with him, barely acknowledging my presence. Then during a lull, Mom turns to me. Her expression laced with familiar disapproval. Clara dear. She begins. Her voice syrupy sweet. Are you sure you're giving Marcus enough attention? A man like him needs support. Olivia mentioned he seemed a bit stressed lately. You need to make sure he's happy. Olivia shoots me a look of faux innocence across the table. I want to laugh. Instead, I nod meekly. You're right, Mom. I'll try harder. Inside, I'm reviewing the legal documents I signed just yesterday. Using a loophole in the bylaws of the small, floundering family business my father technically runs. A business propped up by my grandmother's investments over the years. I initiated a transfer of controlling shares into my name. Shares my grandmother had gifted me years ago, but which my parents always managed. The paperwork is filed. It's done. They just don't know it yet. Their condescension is the final nail in that coffin. My trip needed a dramatic conclusion. A day before I'm scheduled to return, I book an earlier flight. I let myself into our apartment quietly around midnight. The lights are off. But I hear hushed voices from the living room. I flick on the switch. Marcus jumps startled, pulling away from Olivia, who's curled up beside him on the sofa. A little too close for comfort. Clara. Marcus stammers, his face paling. You're back early. Olivia looks momentarily panicked, then plasters on a wide, surprised smile. Sister. We were just catching up. Waiting for you. I raise an eyebrow. My expression carefully neutral. Oh. My flight got rescheduled. Surprise. I watch Marcus stumble through a clumsy explanation about Olivia stopping by because she was worried about him being lonely. I nod, playing along. The image of the hotel photos burned into my mind. How thoughtful of you. Liv, I say. My voice dangerously smooth. He has to stand there and lie to my face while I know exactly where he was just hours ago. The discomfort radiating off him is almost satisfying. Almost. The real satisfaction is yet to come. With the affair documented and Olivia firmly believing my inheritance is her potential jackpot. It's time to tighten the screws. Marcus. Darling. I coo over breakfast a few days after my return. I've been thinking. Why wait? Let's move the wedding up. Maybe next month. I flutter my eyelashes. Feigning impatience. Fueled by love. Marcus nearly chokes on his coffee. Next month. Clara. Isn't that a bit sudden? There's so much to plan. His panic is palpable. An earlier wedding means less time to juggle his affair. Less time to figure out how to handle Olivia. Perfect. I pout. Playing the wounded bride-to-be. Don't you want to marry me? Marcus? He backpedals quickly, trapped. Of course I do. Of course. Next month it is. If that's what makes you happy. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Predictably. Olivia spirals. I hear whispers. She's been frantic. Calling Marcus constantly. Then comes her masterstroke delivered via a tearful late-night phone call to Marcus that I accidentally overhear thanks to the listening device I planted in his home office. Marcus. I think I might be pregnant. She sobs. We need to tell Clara. You have to break it off with her. We can be a family. It's a lie. Of course. A desperate gamble to force his hand. I know her cycle. I know it's impossible. But Marcus doesn't. The fear in his voice as he tries to plait her is music to my ears. He's caught between his desire for my supposed fortune and Olivia's manufactured crisis. While they grapple with their self-made drama, I make my own moves. Anonymous tips start circulating among our mutual friends. Vague but damaging gossip about Olivia's erratic behavior. Her mounting debts, whispers of past indiscretions conveniently resurfacing. Nothing directly traceable to me. Of course. But enough to tarnish her already precarious reputation. People start looking at her sideways, questioning her sudden closeness to Marcus. Then Vanessa calls. Her voice laced with a faux concern. Clara. Honey, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but I've heard things about Marcus and Olivia. She sounds genuinely conflicted, perhaps hoping to win back my favor by playing the loyal friend. I let her spill the rumors. Gasping at the appropriate moments. Shedding a few crocodile tears. Oh. Vanessa. No. Not Olivia. Are you sure? I thank her profusely for her honesty. For her bravery in telling me. I don't know what I'd do without you. I lie smoothly. She hangs up. Likely feeling smug, convinced she's back in my good graces, never suspecting I knew long before she did. Armed with Vanessa's warning. I confront Marcus. Not with accusations. But with heartbreaking vulnerability. Tears stream down my face as I tell him about the vicious rumors Vanessa shared. Marcus. People are saying terrible things about you and my sister. I defended you. Of course. I told Vanessa it wasn't true. That you love me. I cling to him. Sobbing about how scared I am of losing him. How much I need him. It's a disgusting performance, but effective. Guilt washes over his face. Mingled with relief that I'm blaming Olivia and gossip. Not him directly. He holds me tight. Swearing his undying devotion, promising Olivia means nothing. That the wedding is all that matters. He recommits more forcefully than ever, desperate to secure the marriage and the financial stability he thinks comes with it. He needs my inheritance now more than ever because Marcus' world is quietly starting to crumble. My carefully placed insider tips to Apex Global about Thorn Industries' upcoming bids, strategic weaknesses, and key client vulnerabilities are starting to bear fruit. Apex has undercut Thor on 2 major contracts. A promising subsidiary Marcus was counting on is suddenly facing regulatory hurdles I knew were coming. Whispers of instability start surrounding Thorn Industries. Marcus becomes visibly stressed, working longer hours, his temper shorter. His desperation to marry me, to secure access to my old money becomes palpable. He's no longer just marrying an accessory. He's marrying a lifeline. Meanwhile, Olivia's fabricated crisis takes an ironic turn. A frantic, tearful call, this time genuinely panicked, reveals the truth. She is pregnant. The dates align perfectly with the start of their affair. The lie became reality. Now she's truly desperate, pressuring Marcus relentlessly to leave me, using the baby as leverage. He's trapped in a nightmare of his own making. My parents predictably get involved. Olivia, playing the victim, has obviously fed them a story. They corner me one evening, urging me to reconsider the wedding. Clara, darling, Mom starts. Marriage is a big step. Are you sure Marcus is stable? We hear his business isn't doing so well and rushing into things. Dad nods gravely. Think carefully. Clara, don't make a mistake you'll regret. Their concern isn't for me. It's for Olivia. Subtly trying to clear the path for her. I listen patiently, thank them for their advice, and assure them I know what I'm doing. Their blindness remains astounding. The day we sign the final prenuptial agreement is thick with unspoken tension. My lawyer sits beside me, radiating calm professionalism. Marcus sits opposite, his lawyer looking uncomfortable. Marcus shifts in his seat, fiddles with his pen, his gaze darting nervously towards the document. He knows on some level that prenups can have teeth. He just has no idea how sharp these particular teeth are. I specifically drew his attention to the standard infidelity clause weeks ago, framing it as just lawyer stuff. Standard procedure? Darling, I'd said breezily. Means nothing if we're happy. Right. He'd readily agreed then now. Beads of sweat gather on his forehead as he initials the page outlining the consequences of adultery. Immediate forfeit of any claim on my personal assets, including the inheritance and significant penalties drawn from his own holdings. I sign my name with a steady hand, my heart beating a calm, rhythmic drum beat of anticipation. He picks up the pen, his hand trembling slightly. He signs. It's done. The trap is fully set. The wedding day dawned bright and clear, mocking the storm about to break. I stand before the mirror, a vision in white lace and feigned serenity. Every detail is perfect. From the delicate veil to the radiant smile I practice. It's the smile of a bride anticipating her future. Just not the one everyone else expects. Walking down the aisle, clutching my father's arm. A man who has no idea he's leading his least favorite daughter to her greatest triumph. I meet Marcus's gaze. He looks relieved. Almost giddy. He thinks he's made it. He thinks the prize is his. Poor fool. The ceremony is a blur of vows I don't mean and kisses that taste like ash. But I play my part beautifully. At the reception, the champagne flows. Toasts are made. And the illusion of wedded bliss is perfectly maintained. Marcus is beaming, accepting congratulations, already acting the part of the man who secured his future. Olivia hovers nearby, her expression a mixture of simmering resentment and forced smiles. Her hand occasionally resting on her barely concealed bump. My parents look pleased if oblivious. Vanessa offers a tearful, heartfelt hug, whispering how happy she is for me. Richard Sterling even makes an appearance, offering slick congratulations, likely scouting for business opportunities. The whole cast of my personal tragedy is assembled. Then, as the orchestra swells, I make my move. During a moment when Marcus is distracted by business associates, I slip away. Not just to powder my nose, but out. Gone. Minutes turn into anxious whispers. Where's the bride? Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Marcus' smile falters, replaced by confusion, then annoyance, then dawning panic. He starts searching, asking staff, his voice growing tight. Olivia feigns concern, joining the search while exchanging worried glances with Marcus. They find each other inevitably drawn together by their shared deceit. I watch via the security feed I had routed to my temporary command center, a suite down the hall. They retreat to a quiet corner. Then Marcus pulls Olivia towards the elevators heading to the bridal suite. They assume I've fled in tears. Perfect. Let them walk into the final act. As they enter the suite, arguing in hushed, frantic tones. Where could she be? Did someone tell her? What about the baby? The lights flick on. I'm sitting calmly in an armchair. Not in my wedding dress, but in a sharp power suit. Beside me sits Arthur Kensington, Marcus's former business partner. The one Marcus ruthlessly pushed out years ago to seize sole control of Thorn Industries. Arthur smiles. A slow, satisfied curve of his lips. Marcus freezes, his face draining of color. Olivia gasps, stumbling back a step. Clara. What? What is this? Marcus sputters. This, I say, my voice level and cold, is the end of the line. I gesture to the tablet in my hand. Let's start with Thorn Industries. Or should I say my Thorn Industries? Confusion morphs into disbelief on Marcus's face. What are you talking about? Through a series of carefully managed acquisitions via shell corporations guided by some very insightful market intelligence. I explain, nodding towards Arthur. Apex Global, where I happen to be a senior executive along with Mr. Kensington here, has acquired a controlling interest in your company. The final transfer went through this morning. You work for me now, Marcus. Or rather, you did. Arthur speaks, his voice dripping with long simmering resentment. You destroyed my career, Thorn. Built your empire on my ideas and my connections. Now I get to watch it dismantled. Marcus gapes speechless. Olivia looks between us, bewildered. But the money? The prenup. Yes. The prenup. I continue smoothly, picking up another document from the table. The one with the rather stringent infidelity clause you both seem to overlook. I tap the screen of the tablet and images flash across it. Photos of them at the hotel. Timestamps of their late-night calls. Screenshots of incriminating text. All meticulously documented. Your affair wasn't exactly subtle. Marcus recoils. Clara. I can explain. No need. I cut him off. The evidence is quite clear and the prenup is quite clear. Any claim you thought you had on my assets is null and void. In fact, according to Clause 7b, your blatant infidelity triggers significant penalties payable from your assets. What little remains of them anyway. Olivia steps forward, her hand protectively on her stomach. Clara. Please. I love him. We're having a baby. Your timing is impeccable. Sister. I say. My voice devoid of warmth. I produce another file. Medical confirmation of your pregnancy. Congratulations. I turn to Marcus. Though I believe congratulations might be premature for you. Marcus. According to Olivia's panicked confession I recorded weeks ago. I play a short damning clip of her initial pregnancy scare call. She wasn't entirely sure about paternity back then. Perhaps she still isn't. Marcus stares at Olivia. Horror dawning on his face. Is this true? Olivia? Is this baby even mine? Olivia bursts into tears, denying it. But the seed of doubt is sown. And as for my assets, I continue savoring the moment. The inheritance Olivia was so keen on. It exists. But perhaps not in the way you imagined. Just then, the door opens again. My real family enters. My formidable grandmother. Matriarch of a genuinely wealthy old money dynasty, flanked by her lawyers. The family that disowned my branch decades ago due to my parents' choices. But who upon learning of my rebirth and my quiet outreach in this timeline welcomed me back with open arms and considerable resources. Grandma surveys the scene, her gaze sharp and disapproving. Marcus Thorne. Olivia. I believe my granddaughter has concluded her business with you. My parents arrived then. Drawn by the commotion. Their faces crumpling as they take in the scene. Marcus and Olivia exposed my powerful grandmother standing beside me. Arthur Kensington's predatory grin. The carefully constructed facade of their lives shatters before their eyes. They finally see Olivia not as the golden child, but as the desperate manipulator she is. They see Marcus not as the prize catch, but as a ruined fool. And they see me, the daughter they dismissed, holding all the cards. How? Marcus whispers his voice. How did you do all this? I lean back in my chair, allowing myself a small, cold smile. From the moment I opened my eyes in this second chance, I say softly, letting the weight of my journey settle in the silence. Every step you took, every lie you told, every betrayal you enacted. It was all part of my plan. You were puppets dancing on my strings. Welcome to the final curtain call. The silence stretches thick with shock and shattered illusions. Then the begging starts. Marcus is first naturally. He sinks to his knees, grabbing from my hand, his expensive suit suddenly looking pathetic. Clara. Please. He chokes out, desperation, making his voice ugly. Don't do this. It was a mistake. A stupid, meaningless mistake. Olivia means nothing. I'll end it right now. I swear we can fix this. Think of what we had. What we could have. His eyes plead, but there's no remorse there. Only terror of losing everything. I look down at him. My expression unreadable. I withdraw my hand slowly. No. Just one word. Simple. Final. It hangs in the air. Olivia rushes forward next. Tears streaming down her face. Mascara smudged. She tries to embrace me. But I step back, keeping her at arm's length. Clara. Sister. Please. She wails, clutching her stomach. He manipulated me. He used my feelings. I was lost, confused. You have to understand. We're family. I need you. The baby needs you. Her performance is flawless. Honed by years of practice. But the script is old and I'm no longer part of the audience. No. My voice is quiet. But it cuts through her sobs like glass. Olivia stares at me. Her mouth falling open, the tears momentarily forgotten in sheer disbelief. My parents step forward hesitantly. Their faces etched with newfound shame and a dawning horror of their own complicity. Mom reaches out a trembling hand. Clara. Darling. We were blind. She stammers. Tears welling in her own eyes. Dad nods. His face ashen. We didn't see. We didn't listen. We failed you. Can you ever forgive us? The apology I craved my entire first life. Now it feels like dust. Meaningless. No. The word lands like a physical blow. My parents flinch, looking utterly lost. Vanessa, who had hovered near the doorway, taking everything in, chooses this moment to try and salvage something. Clara. I tried to warn you, she says earnestly. Stepping closer. I told you what I heard. I was trying to protect you. Truly. I didn't know how else. Her voice trails off under my unwavering gaze. She was never trying to protect me. She was hedging her bets. No. Even Richard Sterling, ever the opportunist, sees a potential angle. He clears his throat, stepping forward with a strange smile. Clara. He says, his tone smoothly professional despite the chaos. Clearly. You're a woman of extraordinary talent. Sterling Corporation. Well, Apex is acquiring us. I see that now. But perhaps there's a place for you. Your old position. Double the salary. Of course. We need someone with your foresight. He actually thinks he can buy his way back into my good graces after discarding me. The audacity is almost laughable. No. I stand tall amidst the wreckage of their lives. The pleas and apologies washing over me without effect. I look at each of them. The cheating fiancé. The treacherous sister, the blind parents. The false friend. The opportunistic boss. All architects of my past misery. Now reduced to begging scraps from my table. The power dynamic has irrevocably shifted. I turn to leave. Arthur and my grandmother falling into step beside me. At the door, I pause and look back at the stunned weeping group. Your apologies mean nothing to me, I state. My voice carrying clearly in the suddenly silent room. In fact, your tears, I allow a small, genuine, but chilling smile to touch my lips are the sweetest wedding gift I could have asked for. Then I walk away, leaving them to drown in the consequences they created. 1 year later, the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange, pink, and gold. The waves sigh against the shore of the private beach belonging to my secluded villa. It's quiet here. Peaceful. A world away from the noise and deceit of my past life and the calculated chaos of my revenge. Thorn Industries and Sterling Corp. are no more. They were absorbed, restructured, and ultimately merged under the Apex Global umbrella, with Arthur Kensington happily taking a lucrative early retirement package. I now sit as CEO of the newly formed division. It's challenging, demanding, but fulfilling in a way my old job under Richard's thumb never could be. Building something new feels better than tearing things down. Though the tearing down was a necessary foundation. News occasionally filters through about the others, though I don't seek it out. Olivia is struggling, navigating single motherhood largely alone. Marcus, stripped of his company and reputation, vanished from the social scene. Last I heard, he was facing multiple lawsuits from disgruntled investors. Arthur and I quietly pointed in his direction. My parents have tried reaching out. Letters, calls left unanswered. They're making clumsy attempts to support Olivia. Perhaps trying to atone. But the chasm between us remains. Vanessa faded into obscurity. Their lives are no longer my concern. My focus is here now. Healing isn't linear. And the scars of my past life, the trauma of betrayal and loss, still surface sometimes. But I'm in therapy doing the work. Learning to untangle the pain from the person I am today. Reclaiming myself from the wreckage wasn't just about revenge. It was about survival, and now about thriving. My phone buzzes on the table beside my lounge chair. Messages from colleagues, friends, maybe even from him. Daniel, the architect I met 6 months ago, collaborating on the new corporate headquarters design. He's kind, intelligent, funny, and most importantly, he sees me. Not my family name, not my corporate title, but me. There's no pretense, no agenda. It's refreshing, possible. I'm not rushing anything. But the prospect of a healthy relationship built on honesty and mutual respect no longer feels like an alien concept. I ignore the buzzing phone for now. Pushing myself up, I walk towards the water's edge, letting the cool evening breeze wash over me. The sand is soft beneath my feet. I take a deep breath, tasting the salt in the air. The pain of the past is real, a part of my story, but it doesn't define my future. I look out at the endless ocean, the setting sun reflecting in my eyes. For the first time, perhaps in either life, a genuine, unburdened smile spreads across my face. I am free.